My name is Dr. Jennifer Berman. I'm a urologist and sexual health expert, and I specialize in menopause. I'm here in my office today working, and I came across a recent article about the history of menopause and diagnosing it and what people used to do. And I came up, this part really struck me. The menstrual woman was left to suffer in silence throughout the medieval period and early modern period. So this issue of women not being acknowledged by the medical system, not being treated by the medical community, goes back in time to medieval times. Back in 1739, there was one physician that described the symptoms of menopause, but blamed it on the woman. It was the woman's fault and gave no way of how to improve it. Another really funny, it's not so funny actually, but really kind of frighteningly unusual, is they believe menstrual blood was corrosive and dangerous nonetheless to men, with the power to damage a penis. So if menstrual blood could damage a penis, then, and not for religious reasons, men back then for sure were not having sex with women who were menstruating. Premenopausal women were just as dangerous too, because they build up blood, corrosive, heinous, disgusting blood in their uteruses. So women evoked a toxic power. So from the beginning of humanity, menopause has been a taboo subject, and no wonder that we feel shame and embarrassment and don't want to talk about it, and it's a sign of a change that is not wanted. So the fact that here we are today in the 21st century and our doctors aren't trained in menopause, they don't know how to use testosterone and other drugs that help menopausal women are not FDA approved. I don't have an explanation for why this is for women, but it is a challenge. And what's interesting now is that menstrual blood, the corrosive, toxic force of women, is now being injected in people's faces. It's now being used for anti-aging benefits. It's rich in stem cells and growth factors. So now there's women, you can see them all over TikTok and Instagram, spreading menstrual blood on their bodies, on their faces, and even micro injections of menstrual blood. So that's the upside, is menstrual blood is no longer considered an evil force, but possibly a healing force. Now we just have to get to that place with menopausal women and treating menopausal women with estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, thyroid, DHEA, whatever it is that they need to optimize hormone balance and enhance wellness, enhance longevity, just the same as happening in men when they're jacking themselves up with testosterone and stem cells and growth factors and all the things that and ED meds, 85 million different varieties of testosterone in every different kind of form men have. Women, we're not so lucky.
Thank you, Bright Star. She said you're beautiful, that you're a queen.
Oh, thank you. But we have to band together as women. It's not going to be the FDA, it's not going to be the medical board, it's not going to be these marketers or pharmaceutical companies or even us doctors. It's going to be all of you and all of us as women banding together and having a voice and fighting for our rights. It's a human right to medical treatment and medical care, and to deny us of the hormones that we need to live happy, healthy, sexually fulfilling lives, and for insurance to deny patients being able to see certain doctors and or receive certain medications is nothing short of marginalization and neglect, verging on what I'd say is abuse, because living the way that hormone imbalance impacts many women, most women. There are some women that can float through menopause seamlessly and easily, and God bless those few. There's few. Most of us suffer, and suffer significantly emotionally, cognitively, mentally, and physically in every single way. And we are starting to acknowledge and accepting postpartum depression. We all know that that's real, that's a real thing, and we all know that it's very dangerous, that women are at risk of hurting themselves, hurting others, and hurting their babies due to estrogen withdrawal. So we've acknowledged that. The same estrogen withdrawal is happening to menopausal women. And so just because we're not homicidal, suicidal, running around killing people or killing our children, doesn't mean we're not suffering. It needs to be taken equally as important in older women as we are taking hormone imbalance in the young reproductive age woman postpartum. In both cases, it's the same cause and the same risks.
So Lori said that her insurance refused her for weight loss medication, like refused to pay for it.
Well, the insurance is refusing to pay for certain weight loss, the peptides, trizepatide, so Wegovy, Mounjaro, Saxenda, Ozempic. Your insurance is going to deny those because unless you have an elevated hemoglobin A1C, which is an indicator of type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome, or morbid obesity, a BMI greater than 30. So if you don't meet those criteria, it's that's something different than menopause. But weight gain is associated with menopause, and menopause is a risk factor for weight gain. So weight gain medications and weight management should be incorporated into every doctor. Any doctor who is treating and seeing menopausal women, or any primary care doctor that is seeing aging women, needs to be aware that weight gain is extremely common. And it's not because we're lazy, it's not because we're tired, it's not because we're fatties, it's because our body is changing. The sensitivity of our insulin receptor is changing. We're not metabolizing fats and sugars like we did when we were in our 30s and 40s. Our metabolism is flipped upside down to storing fat instead of burning fat. So I hear you on the fact of why can't we get trizepatide, Mounjaro covered. That's something different than a menopause problem and untrained physicians. But it is true that weight gain during menopause is not recognized as a medical condition or as a symptom of menopause, and for that reason most of our doctors aren't really addressing it or treating it as such. You have to ask for Mounjaro, and now we're able to get those medications compounded. I'm compounding them for my patients. Most of my patients don't have type 2 diabetes. I'm not an endocrinologist, and that's not my practice. I have healthy aging women, and I am compounding Mounjaro and Wegovy and Ozempic for them and giving it in microdosing amounts or regular dosing amounts. It doesn't matter. But that's for another conversation. Right now we're talking about menopause, hormone replacement therapy, and the fact that the medical community, the FDA, the DEA, and pharmaceutical companies aren't acknowledging or recognizing these issues and these symptoms as deserving medical attention and medical care. They'll acknowledge hot flashes and night sweats and vaginal dryness, those three things. Everything else that we're talking about, memory, moodiness, difficulty sleeping, low libido, difficulty achieving orgasm, weight gain, fatigue, joint pain, none of those symptoms are considered medically relevant or even menopause, which is fundamentally medically incorrect. So anyway, we are making progress. We've come a long way since Aristotle and the toxic period blood, but we've got a long way to go. In and out.
All right. Okay. Do you guys have any questions before we go? Any questions?
Any questions? Let
Okay.
me know. And if not, I'll be back. Let
Okay.
us know what topics you want to hear
Yes.
about also.
Let us know, guys. Send us DMs, and we will go live again and what topics you're interested in, and we'll make some content for that as well. All right, guys, have a beautiful day. Bye. Come on, Ed. There.